Alright, so with the crane or the cherry picker underneath, or holding it up, I lifted it about an inch and a half. And so we have a little bit more wiggle room. I can get back in here now, and I can unscrew all these bolts here. There's about, I feel like there's like 25 of them. I might be wrong about that, being that I haven't done this kind of job in about 3 months. I will, oh, and also I'm going to have to take off that cover that mates the engine to the transmission, that little panel that we took off the bolts off already. And now that I lifted it up, it should be able to slide past that sway bar and come off. So I'm going to leave it in, and I'm just going to do a time lapse. Alright, so I took every single screw off or bolt off the oil pan. So now it's actually just being held by the old gasket. And so I also took off the negative lead here, and I took off the screws on the level sensor. However, now I just have to take a punch and knock it a little bit so the corrosion breaks, and then I'll pull that off, and then the oil pan should just come right down. Now I have my drip pan over there, because as when these things drop, the back of the pan's gonna flood a little bit, and you're gonna have some drippage. Now before I do this, I'm probably gonna put another screw up here, back in there, just so I can hold it steady as I knock that fuel or that oil level sensor off. All right. Alright, so with the oil pan free, as you can see it's jiggling around. You can try to get it out. I mean, because there's the pickup is inside here and kind of goes down, you may have to lift the engine a little bit. I haven't even tried yet. And if that's the case, you probably want to undo the fan shroud around the fan in the front of the engine. And being that, because right now with the engine hoisted up, it's actually pinching a little bit on that shroud. It's not that much, not much to break anything. But if you are to continue lifting the engine, you really need to unconnect the two clips on the side of it. gonna have to be lifted up. Alright, so finally the pan's down, and you can see it's a very dirty oil pan. This thing sat for a while actually. If you go look up in there, there's part of the gaskets on the surface there. We're going to need to cut that off, or I'm going to have to clean that off. I'm probably going to take like a little, like a safety knife, or not a safety knife, but a little knife blade. I'm just going to cut that off neatly. You have to be very, very careful that you don't scar the surface when you do that. And I'm going to let it sit right now for a little bit so it drains the remainder of the oil. But as far as when you pull it off, you really have to make sure you don't really touch the crank. However, once you get it down, which you do, I ended up having to take that side up there for a little bit, which was surprising because the 325i that I didn't actually have to do that. So that was pretty interesting. However, you guys get the basics, I guess, the gist of it. You don't have to take the subframe off in order to do this, and it saves you a lot of time. Alright, well, thank you for watching. I'm not really going to show putting it back together, just because it's kind of it took twice as long using the camera and walking everybody through it. It's just not effective. So essentially it's just clean the oil pan, which I'm actually gonna let it soak in on. I'm gonna try to let it drain as much as possible, and then I'm actually gonna take some brake clean and clean it up pretty good. And before I put the new gasket on, and then when I go to put the gasket on, put a little bit of grease on the gasket surface so it holds or it tacks the gasket on, and then it'll be easier to put it back on. But all right, well, that's about it, guys. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I have no problem answering questions, and it's kind of rewarding to be able to get your BMW running correctly without any drips and dirty, messy driveway. All right, well, have a good day. Bye.